Today is April the 22nd, 2003. We are in Houston, Texas at 707 Graceland in the home of Mr. and Mrs. Albert Marquez. I am here along with Mr. Paul Cepeda to interview Mr. Marquez for the Latina oral history out of Austin, Texas. Mr. Marquez, would you be good enough to let us know and give us your name and your age of where you were born, please?
Glad to. My name was Albert Marquez. As a kid, I was known as Beto. As a kid, Beto. Anyway, I was born, parents first?
Just where were you born?
Oh, I was born in Sanderson, Texas. It's about 100 miles northwest of Del Rio.
What year?
In Texas, 1913. They went that way in 1904.
Good.
That's when they went from where they were raised in San Benito, Texas, I believe.
Okay.
And they went that way. Why, I don't know. I never could find out why they had it that way. But anyway, they were there, and I was born there in Sanderson, Texas, May the 24th, 1913.
Mighty fine. Thank you very much.
Okay.
If you be seated, please.
Thank you. Yes, I'd be glad to. Like it used to be, it was really something that they sent us to school, but then there was a little
discrimination.
Discrimination. But it didn't bother me because we were raised with both languages, Spanish and English together. They ask you, talk to you in Spanish, you'd answer in Spanish. In English, the same way. But I was there a very short time because I started school. I would have to be about, 6 years when you start kindergarten? About 6 years. And I went there about a month or 2 months. And my grandmother, who raised me, they moved to San Antonio, Texas. And so they sent me with her for schooling, a bigger school, which was, I think it was Fannin Elementary School. And that school, I believe, was on well, I won't mention, I don't remember the street it was on, but I think it was Fannin Elementary. And I went, I guess enough to learn to read a little in English, naturally, that's good teaching. But my grandparents were, they loved education because my uncles, they sent us to a private school to increase our learning in English. And it was nice because we go to the elementary school, and from there we'd walk over to this private school.
Your parents were born where?
My parents were born here my father was born in El Paso, and my mother was in San Benito.
Give us the name of your father and your mother.
Oh, my mother's name was Teodola Adame Marquez. And my father was Espiridion Flores Marquez. Espiridion.
And they were born in
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso, okay.
Okay. And his father was from Mexico.
You remember where in Mexico?
Saucillo.
Salcillo.
Eh?
Salcillo?
No. Saucillo.
Okay, Salcillo.
Saucillo.
Okay.
That's south from El Paso in Chihuahua. As a matter of fact, it's about 30 miles from Chihuahua City.
Okay.
And
What did they do? What did your parents do for a living?
when my mother was a housewife, they were farmers. Yeah, that's what happened. They had a big, when they left San Diego and they headed northwest. My dad, at that time, well, I guess he was coming from El Paso. Why, I don't know, but he was coming east from El Paso. And on the way over, along the road, of course, he was hopping a ride on a train, a freight train. Something happened to the engine, conked out. And he had done a little stuttering in El Paso, steam engines. And so he walked up to the front, and well, they stopped. There was nothing they can do. So he got in there, and I said, I think I can fix it for you.
Really?
And that's what he did. So they asked him, well, where are you going? He said, oh, I'm going to Sanderson. Why, I don't know. But he was heading for Sanderson. And so they even gave him a ride in the cab of the engine, because it was a freight train out there. So he rode back there. And that is how he got a job there in Sanderson.
Doing what?
Engine. Machinist, is that what you call them?
Right,
Machinist at this roundhouse,
Great.
Southern Pacific.
Wow.
And
It was like fate, you know, that something like that would have come up, and it was a turning point in his life.
right there, yeah. Well, anyway, he from there went. That's when he met my mother, I believe.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I have one grown-up brother. He was my brother was about 7 years older than I. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4 sisters. There were about 6 or 7 in our family. And they all went to school here. I think they did. They here in Houston, after we came back over here. Because while he was there, you know, wasn't it I think there was a railroad strike
Yes, there was.
in the early 20s or somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
So they let him go. I mean, they didn't let him go. He quit. He left looking for a job because he just couldn't afford it. He didn't know how to.
Oh, during the Depression.
During the Depression. No, excuse me. Depression was in the 30s, wasn't it?
30s.
Late 29.
This was in the 20s.
Well, that's when the Depression.
Early, well,
Oh,
early
that
20s.
length of time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyway, he had to move and look for a job somewhere else. That's when he came to San Antonio, picked me up, us. My grandmother took care of all her grandchildren from her family. There were always about 10 boys in that group. So, but we had a good time there, all the boys. And so we got there. He moved still further west, east. And he came to Pearland, Texas. And he got it was farm or country, you know, there was a lot of sugar cane. So that's what sugar land. They planted a lot of that cane there. So he got a job there for very short time, 3 months maybe, at the most. So he says, this is not gonna get it, you know. So he moved into Houston. And here, he went to work here and there. And I believe there was a company, I don't know whether there still is or not, by the name of Horton and Horton. They're builders and
I think
Concrete.
you're right.
Contract.
Yeah, I've heard of them, yes.
Have you?
Mhm.
Really? Oh, well, anyway, he started paving streets, paving, and while he was doing that, along comes the foreman, I guess, what do you call a head man in the railroad?
Superintendent or foreman? Yeah.
Foreman,
Mayordomo?
Mayordomo, yeah.
Oh.
And he said, hey, well, he could, they could speak Spanish. Now, he could speak English too. He says, what are you doing here? Gotta get a job somewhere. That was here in Houston. And he said, well, why don't you come and work for me? I've already got it built up. He didn't know what the work was. And he said, just come over to Houston Belt and Terminal
The
Railroad, which I believe their operating area was around the Chip Channel. That little company train moving those freight cars and oil tankers or whatever you call them. That's what they did. So he went to work for him again in the railroad business. So he was right back in it again. And
Where were you working then?
Let's see, that was in, no, I wasn't working, I was still going to school
In the 30s?
in the early 30s.
Yeah.
That's when I finished grade school in the 30s. So I was still going to school. But you had to do other than just go to school.
Right.
So I made a shoe shine box. And after school, I'd go to this, I think they call it, I don't know whether it's there or not, ING Terminal Road,
Right.
there, out of this place where where they, how would you call it, they made all their if I forget the word. Well, anyway, I forgot. Isn't that something? That's age.
Well,
it's,
wasn't that where the roundhouse was?
And the roundhouse says on well, it wasn't a roundhouse. It was just like a garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what and he went in, working there again, so in the same line of business. And me, I used to get, this other place over here I was starting to tell you, where they had, I don't know whether they were saloons or just beer joints or what, on that alley, it was an alley that the trains go through there, but they had these meeting places for
Right.
grown-ups. And I'd go in there with my, after school, shine shoes, man, and can you imagine, 5 and 10 cents a shine.
Listen,
What?
but that was good money back then.
Yeah,
you could buy a good hamburger for 5 cents.
yeah. Well, can you imagine that though, for that, 5 or 10 cents, and do that? Okay, I used to do that, but I got tired of that. So somebody say, hey, there's an opening there on after school. You can go there. You know where the old city hall was?
Sure.
Milam or Travis?
Preston,
one.
Milam,
Congress.
Travis, and Congress.
Congress.
Mm-hmm.
You remember there was a city hall,
Right.
was on the west side of that square,
Right.
and then under there was a grocery, produce,
Yeah, well, market.
vegetable market. They had everything in there,
Mm-hmm.
butcher shop and bakery.
Restaurants, everything.
Restaurants, and I worked for Jamil. It was the name of
Right.
it. The person that had this fruit stand, vegetable stand. And, well, I used to come in the morning, boy, that was early in the morning before school, and go in and get this spray, the vegetables.
I knew Rosie Jamil.
Huh?
I knew Rose Jamil. I knew her.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Really?
I sure did.
Oh, listen, they were the nicest people.
They were.
I'd beat them, they weren't there, but they're in the mornings. But he says, he'd take me, you take 2 oranges, apple, and a banana. Scoop. I mean, it's a gift. For
Yeah, uh-huh.
having all that all worked up. And so I do that and get everything done. I'd sweep at night because I'd go after school and I'd clean up. And he was really nice to us.
Yeah, they were.
So I did that for a little while. And then when I finished, just about that time, I only went to the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
8th grade. And
What school was that?
Rusk
School.
and it's in 2nd Ward, I believe.
Yes.
And that was the end of my career as far as school. Okay, and so from there, my brother-in-law, that became a brother-in-law, he had a messenger service. You know, they'd call him all these stores or for delivering their packages. And that's what he did. So I went to work for him in the 31 or 32, 1932. But I worked for him, but he had me at this dental supply store. We was Pendleton and Arto Dental Supplies.
Yeah.
On the 2nd floor of the Medical Arts Building. So he hired me to deliver to the dentists around town, and I would walk with the deliveries, like from the Medical Arts Building. I'd walk as far as the Scanlon Building, the Union Bank, around in there, see, and go back. And all the customers were
And Medical Arts was on Caroline, wasn't it?
Caroline and Walker.
Right.
Walker. Anyway, it got to where this is my really. I have to laugh at this because this fella, he'd come in. He had his hand a box here. Here's some more package to deliver. So I'd grab it and I said, God. So, well, I got me a bicycle. And from there, I would deliver and come back after delivery. And that got to be for about a week. I took that. No sooner did I get there, I didn't get a chance to even rest or, like you said, go to the restroom. Or
Yeah, they just kept you going, huh?
it kept me going. I
What
said,
salary were you getting at that time?
you won't believe it, $5
Yes, I
a week.
will.
$5 a week.
That's right.
But, I mean, and it
They
wasn't,
didn't pay by the hour,
no, it's just by the,
by the week.
and from there, well, I came, I got to know the owners of the place, you know, of the company. And every time I saw him coming in, I'd say hello or something like that to him. And one of those, I wasn't feeling good. So he comes out with a bunch of packages. He said, hey man, you're supposed to have another guy here to help me with this. But I was doing it all. Instead of 2 and 3, because he would deliver there in the building
Yeah.
and next door, something like that. And I was doing it all. I said, hey, you're supposed to have, there's supposed to be 3 of us delivering this. He said, well, if you don't like it, why don't you quit?
You took
Go
off.
on. I said, okay, that's the way you feel about it. So I walk on upstairs, and I went to see Dr. Stoll was the owner of the place. He was a dentist by profession, but he had gone into this selling business. I asked him, I told him what had happened, and he said, what? He told the bookkeeper, the paymaster, or somebody to put me on the list that I was working for them. I started working for them right away.
Right away, huh?
Yeah, he
Didn't skip a beat or nothing.
he just said, you're hired. And boy, that made my brother-in-law mad. I said, I told you to get some help. So he went off. So I started working for Pendleton and Arto, delivering. Then I could, what was it? I forget what it was, but anyway, I bought me a new bicycle. From that, they made me a lot better than. So it just went on and on, and
Well, you were about 15 to 16 then.
about 16
Yeah.
then, and
What did you do for recreation? What did you do for
Newsboys Club.
Newsboys?
You remember Newsboys
Sure,
Club
I belonged to the Newsboys
at the
Club.
foot of Texas Avenue? Remember?
Yeah, R.O. Brown, and
R.O.
Mr.
Brown?
Wood, Mr. Woods.
You know, I thought about him today, this
Mr.
morning.
R.O. Wood.
R.O. Woods. He was a good gentleman.
Yes, he was.
A good man. I liked him. Anyway,
Tommy O'Brien was the guy in the office.
that's right. So, Dr. Stoll, he said, well, he knew anything they didn't even have to tell me. I already knew what had to be done. I'd clean, I'd sweep, I'd straighten out, I'd put up stock for them to help out, and he kind of liked that. So that kept on for a couple of 3 years. And yes, this fella, what is it? Russo, Joe Russo, was a shipping clerk, and I used to help him. As a matter of fact, you saw that scale in there. They gave me that. That was a postal scale, and he said, "You work hard." So he is assistant to the shipping clerk. So we decided to go, but it was around that. After a while, old enough to get into. I think I was about 18 when I went into the service. 18.
Were you
something.
recruited?
No, we were going for lunch. This guy, Joe Russo, the shipping clerk, we went for a hot dog. And we had to pass this, it wasn't James, I don't know whose place it was. James, Coney Island, was on Walker in Maine almost. And, right?
That's right.
And then this other one was right in front of the telephone company building. We were going for a hot dog. And I laugh every time we went by there. We were walking, and like I told you, there's old Uncle Sam
Yeah.
pointing that finger.
We want you.
We want you. And I said, they want you, Joe. I said, no, they want you. We start arguing who they want. And I said, well, let's go find out who they want. And that was the post office. They had a recruiting office there in World War II. So we go up there, and it must have been Navy, because he wound up in the Navy. And me, they didn't take me. I said, I'm sorry, Joe. They wouldn't accept me. So he said the recruiter or whatever he was, he said, go try the Army. They were down the street somewhere. I'm sure they'll take you. All because of I had lost 2 molars. 2
Really?
left molars.
Uh-huh.
First and second molar. I'll never forget that. First and second molar.
Hmm.
2 molars. I have to laugh at this. So I thought, I can't help it. I told Joe, I said, I can't help it. They just, because I lost the molars. So I went over to the other place. And the thing is, the Navy took him. So I go to the Army, and they did the same thing to me.
They wouldn't take you?
They wouldn't take me because of that tooth.
Well, I bet.
That's how, that was the beginning.
Yeah.
And they were kind of picky.
What
about
year
it.
was that?
It must have been around
41?
41. No, before that. A little before.
A little before
No,
41?
wait a minute. You're right.
41?
41. 41 is the big.
War was declared December the 7th, 1941.
41. Was it 40 or 41?
Had Pearl Harbor already happened?
I don't remember.
You remember?
But anyway, I went, the Army guy said, go try the Air Force over there. It was then U.S. Army Air Force, I believe. It was in cahoots with the Army Air Force. Right?
Yeah. Army Air Corps.
I think so. Anyway, I did, and they took me. But what he told me, he said, look, he told me what to do in the Air Force. He said, you go, since he read where I was working, he said, go tell, he knew them. He mentioned one of them by name, the laboratory. Go tell the Able Dental Lab, Thwaites is the name of the laboratory. Thwaites, and there was a fellow named Abel there. Tell him to put a snap bridge on. So I go, and he did. He put a piece of wax on there, put it out, poured it in plaster, and I supplied the teeth, because that's what Penn Harper did. They supplied teeth. And we put 2 in there. That's why they call them dummies.
Yeah.
You put them in there, and there's 2 little wires on each end,
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
and they snap.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the Air Force now, buddy.
That's all it took.
So why didn't I do that? I've been in the Navy, but I didn't know which branch of the service I wanted. But anyway, that is just right. So I had been married before. See, the first time, though, first wife was I got in this Air Force. They knew that they were going to get me, but I didn't have to go because I had a child.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they spread the news, that everybody had to go. So
It's funny how things work out,
they work out.
Yeah,
fine.
it seems like something is guiding you in that direction.
In that direction.
Things
all the
happen,
time.
and
So he went into Michigan, somewhere out in the Great Lakes. This Joe Russo and me, they sent me to. I wanted to get away from Houston. What they did? They sent me to Ellington Field.
right outside of Houston.
Pretty good. So I thought I was going to be a mechanic or something in there, since Air Force. Well, that's what I pictured. So what I wound up in 201 file in the headquarters
What's that?
office. It's where they keep all the records of every soldier that goes through there.
Oh, okay.
They keep a record of services. And that's where I went. I was a file clerk there. I said, God, I used to do that over at Pendleton and Ortho. And this fellow said, well, every once in a while, they'd send these letters from these other outfits that they needed so many men, asking them to send so many that were qualified for whatever department they want. And there was one Harlingen Gunnery School, and then and the other was Officers Candidate School. I don't know where that was, but anyway, both of them came in, and I told the headman there at the office, I said, send one copy of me to each office. Whichever comes first.
Right.
He said, boy, you really want to get out of here, don't you?
Yeah.
Whichever one comes first, that's where I'll go. Sure enough, but 2 days later, there's Harlingen Gunnery School. I said, well, it had something to do with airplanes, so
Good.
I wound up at Harlingen. And it had a course in gunner on a biplane, back seat,
Swivel.
ring. You got on a ring
Yeah.
and you shoot from that. But they were pretty sharp, those guys. They'd put some kind of a soft paint on the bullet, on the 105, whatever it was, that the bullet, the lead part,
Right.
they color
Color-coded.
coded, yeah. So that when you fired at this, now this was another plane was dragging a sign. You've seen these planes around here
Yeah.
dragging these advertisements. They had a long piece of cloth dragging
A target.
target, and the pilot would tell you, let him have it. So when you get back, and there wasn't only one. There was 2 or 3 guys shooting at it with a different color.
Right.
So when they got to the base, they'd take it and
Analyze it.
the color of the
Yeah, they
Who
total
had-
out the hits.
who they knew had done the hitting.
Right.
So it was really nice. So I made it. And let's see, from there, what else happened? While waiting, well, I think that they got the whole course on the flying, the training, and
You took your basic there? Your basic training?
I didn't have any basic. Basic is marching and all of that. I didn't have none of that. It was so fast, They probably told you how to salute and
Yeah. They were trying to get him ready and.
get them out.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they sent me from there, from coming back. They sent me to Keesler Field. Keesler. Is that I saw for New Orleans? It's Keesler Field,
Mississippi.
Mississippi, and that is that was a motors mechanic, airplane motor mechanic. I said, I wanted to send me to the first place because I love mechanics, and so I got it there. And from there, they sent me to after the training period. I think they sent me to San Antonio to El Paso. That's when I started traveling. They sent me to El Paso, Texas. That's where they farmed. Alamogordo was the name of the town, right outside of
That's New Mexico.
New
Alamogordo,
Mexico. They're very
It's
close.
right next to it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's just a hop.
Hopping and jumping.
Yeah.
And that's where they assigned me to fly with as a side gunner, window side, on the side of the plane.
Yeah. Side gunner.
And that's when I first got on those B-24s. See, one on each. There was 2 men on the window. The one on turret, that's 3 right there. The tail gunner's 4. Nose gunner's 5. And the mechanic or the radio operator took the other flight deck, the turret on top. And that made 6 men. They were gunners. And Unlike the bodies, every time you finish one in school, they give you a raise in your rank.
Yeah, you got a stripe.
Stripe,
Yeah.
It was very, very interesting on that because it made you want to do
Yeah.
better, see, so. And that's when we trained there for the crew. And we're just getting ready to go overseas. And so we got through. They give you a leave, a furlough, what do you call it. And I was headed for Sanderson. Well, actually I was coming to Houston, but I stopped in Sanderson, which was the old hometown.
Right.
In the meantime, they wrote here in San Antonio, or wherever it was, Sanderson, Houston. They wrote here, return to base immediately. Well, I wasn't here to receive the notice. I was still halfway down here.
Yeah.
So my 3 days were up. I said, well, I didn't get to make the Houston. So I went back to El Paso. And when I got up there, I looked around, there wasn't nothing, no cars, no nothing on that field. They packed up and sent them out. And they left me.
Shipped them out and left you behind?
Yeah, I lost the crew because I was
Was that on account of Pearl Harbor or what?
no.
Or something else?
Something else. There were we were going to Europe
Uh-huh.
on that. Yeah, Europe. We went to Europe, and there. Well, we just that was. Well, anyway, they shipped that outfit, less one gunner. They picked another one that was there, I guess that's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent me to El Paso. I went to Alamogordo to El Paso. The orderly room said, well, going back to El Paso, ask them what to do. Where I had come from. I did. So what did they do? They assigned me to another one, to another crew that had been going there.
Mm-hmm.
And since I already
Had your training and everything.
training and all of that, I didn't have no trouble. So this time I went in as I wanted a nose gunner. I wanted the nose.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very nice, that group, that accepted me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they put me in there, and we went through some little more training.
Uh-huh.
That's when that fella crashed into that mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know just what happened, but anyway, this fella passed away, the soldier,
Uh-huh.
and I guess because I was from Houston, they appointed me to be an honor guard,
Honor guard,
which is
yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
And came on the train, go up to, I think it's
Livingston?
on Livingston, right along in there. So, and the parents, we went through the whole deal there. And I came back and I stopped by. Oh, they brought me, that family brought me to Houston. That was really nice of them.
Yeah.
So I said, no, you don't have to go from here. You got to go way the heck up. Let's go to town. So I'll get your streetcar. So I cut the streetcar ride, and I went home, said hello and goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to El Paso.
Let me ask you something. During your training for gunnery and everything, was there a lot of Hispanics in your units, or?
No, I don't. There was, honestly, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
Most of your buddies were Anglos.
Yeah.
Okay.
All, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And they accepted you with,
We never had any.
no problems at
No
all.
problems at all, because I was the oldest,
Yeah.
and the pilot, Fouch, He said, you make them behave. You know, you usually went 3 or 4 of your crew to go to town. He said, y'all under him, he'll tell you. And he'd put me, made me responsible.
He assigned you as a leader,
So,
Yeah.
and they were so nice. I'm telling you, I just can't see how, well, I'll say 10 because the officers were the same way with you. That camaraderie, is that the word?
Yeah, camaraderie and you
Togetherness and things like that.
togetherness,
They're all just that close.
Yeah.
And they didn't care about anybody else. They're just those 10 men. That's how close it was. But no, there wasn't any. You'd see some, but a lot of them, most of them were in the Army.
Yeah.
The Air Force didn't. I don't think they had very many. There were a few, and the only way you could tell by the name,
Yeah.
you wouldn't. They'd be in some other field or something like that.
Right.
But we were very close. All of us were very close,
Yeah.
all the way through.
Where
So,
did you ship out of? Where did you go from
from
El Paso?
El Paso, the second time, we went to Kansas. And Kansas, I guess they picked up a new plane. I don't know, it was just, it's in that book. Yeah, we picked up the plane in there, and from there we went to Bangor, Maine. Is there Bangor, Maine?
Yeah, Bangor, Maine, yes.
Bangor, Maine? Yeah, okay, we went there, and from there, we went to Iceland, Greenland,
Greenland, yeah.
and then, well, it's Greenland, and then Iceland down
Right,
further. Yeah, we went to Greenland first, then to that other, Iceland, and boy, it got cold. It was cold.
Yeah.
And when we got to that Iceland, I think it's Iceland, they had bags there on the side of the runway. You put them on the wings of the plane to break the lift, because they had strong winds there.
Oh, to keep
Yes.
them grounded or what?
Yeah, to keep the plane from
Yeah.
being picked up,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it, that, you know, that it would do that. Of course, it never did blow that hard, but evidently
It was a precaution,
a
anyway.
precaution, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'd be.
So that from there, they sent us to, there was another one, this was Scotland, no, Ireland. We went to Ireland. They were really nice to us. You know, remember the base where we landed, you could see those the little farmhouses.
Yeah.
And boy, eggs were hard to get.
Yeah.
Hard-boiled eggs or something like that. And I would, and this other friend in the crew, he said, let's go see if we can get some eggs. So we'd boil them. You know, it don't take anything to boil them in the can of water, in the heater that we had in the tent. And they were very nice. We'd give them a cigarette, a packet. You remember how much the cigarettes were? A pack? About 20 cents at the most. 20 cents a pack. Sometimes you could for 10 cents.
Yeah.
That's why I picked up smoking. I got the wire
Well,
smoking.
they used to put them in the sea rations also. Used to put the packs of cigarettes in the sea ration.
Sea ration?
Yeah.
Well, whatever they did, we'd give it to the thing. I didn't smoke, but after this I did. We'd trade, and they were glad to give you those for cigarettes or candy. You know, to the kids, I used to give them the candy because they hardly didn't charge you much for the candy. And make you feel good. It's
Yeah, goodwill gesture.
goodwill gesture. Give them a little Hershey's bar, what do you call those? Kisses,
Yeah.
Yeah. kisses
chocolate
and-
candy, and things like that. And they were nice. They were really good.
Mhm.
And from there, from Ireland, we went to our base. Seething was the name of it. This is on the west, I think it's the west coast of England. Yeah, this is on the west. I don't know which one was facing what on the island now, but I'm sure it was the west side. In other words, it faced the channel, you know, for going over to Germany and France and
Mhm.
them on the English channel.
Mhm.
So that's where we stayed there, and so I've got the list of the missions where we went. One of us in June. One of the first missions was on June of 40. Hey, that was 43 or 44, 42, 43 wasn't it? Yeah, it's got the date of the mission
Mhm.
that we took.
You like to refer to your booklet? Maybe it'll refresh your memory.
See, now I gotta put my glasses on.
Well, that's all right. Go ahead and put your glasses on.
Put them on, it's on, no problem.
There you go. June the 14th, 44.
44.
My first exhibition one, and that was Orleans, France.
You were still a gunner, right?
I remained a gunner
Uh-huh.
on this, on the B-24 nose gunner.
Are you in that picture right there?
Yes.
Okay, turn it around and let me take
Well, I
it.
got a better one than
Oh, you do?
you to see. This saw. Here's my. You saw this, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
I have a.
Well, D-Day was June the 6th. So that's June the 14th? That's a week later.
A week later, I got. Oh, I must spend too much time looking for it. But
But that one is fine. The one you had.
will it take it? Well, okay.
Yeah. I can zero in on it.
Well, this other one is real. By the way, the name of my plane was No Love, No Nothing.
No love, no nothing.
No
Huh?
love, no nothing.
Okay, which one are you on the picture?
This standing right here, the first.
Okay, that one right there is you.
Far right there.
Let me see if I can get a closer shot on that. Okay.
I have
And what kind of plane is that?
a B-24.
B-24. And that's your crew right there
That's
standing with you,
the
right?
crew,
Okay.
What was your mission there on the 14th?
The town,
Yeah, what was your mission? You went across the channel, right?
yeah, to Orleans.
Orleans.
Orleans is the name of the town. And here, did you see this other? I don't know whether you can catch it.
Describe it to me and
Well, I have to. Well, this is the 33 missions that we made
okay.
from June the 14th to, God, I'm not very good at reading upside down.
No, that's all right. I mean, just what it's about, you know.
Oh, this is every mission that we made
Uh-huh.
to different targets,
And were they into France or Germany? or
France
what?
and Germany.
France and Germany.
France and
Okay.
Germany.
All right. And okay. Is there-
What did you deliver? What kind of bomb?
The 1,000 pound,
1,000
500
pounders?
pounds,
500 pounder?
and some little ones, I don't know what they were, 100
Yeah.
probably,
Okay.
but they were there.
Were there any other items in there that?
Well, this is just the crew,
Uh-huh.
There.
Okay.
their serial numbers,
Mhm.
but this is all the missions that we,
Okay.
that got us on that
What rank did you have then?
staff sergeant. Staff, ST, staff.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Uh-huh. And what medals were you all awarded?
Well, they're up there.
Okay, we'll take a photo.
Okay,
That's
photo.
when we finish, we'll go through the medals.
And that would be in order,
Okay.
you know, the first, even the good conduct medal.
Well, hey, not everybody got one of
No,
those.
no, no. Here's a,
I think about 10% of the guys didn't get it.
They think it's automatic, but it's not. I mean, good conduct, that's what it means, good conduct.
good conduct.
How long were you in Europe?
It's on here. Foreign service. It didn't like I wasn't there, but it was looked like it was for life. 6 months, 3 days
6 months, 3
in
days.
combat.
Yeah.
6 months, 3 days in foreign service. And continental service was 2 years, 5 months, 6 days, and 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Well, you got it down to the seconds and minutes.
That's great.
So-
Continental service.
Continental service. But you may not believe it, I enjoyed since I went in, I enjoyed every bit of it. I mean,
When were you mustered out?
the day that
Yes.
mustard beans kicked out,
Almost.
almost
Discharge.
Discharge, yeah.
discharge. Separation date, 15th of September, 1945,
Mhm.
at Fort Sam Houston.
Fort Sam Houston.
I guess everybody went through them.
Yeah, I know I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, that, I really, honestly, I had a wonderful time.
Good.
Which is,
Even though you went through a lot of
lot of-
dangerous missions and experiences and whatever.
well, I kidded myself, I guess. The tail gunner and I were always arguing. The tail gunner wanted to know where he had been. He said, well, I'm me, I wanna know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And it's just back and forth until the pilot says, "Oh, you guys cut it out."
You know, it's a funny thing, you know, when you look back on those things, you know, 'cause, a lot of times, you know, you grew up and you had no idea you was gonna go see all those countries, and you were gonna be in the thick of something historic like that, you know. And,
Boy,
that's the opportunity that a lot of people had to be able to know about the rest of the world.
yeah. Gosh, I must have traveled unbelievable, because
It's an education in itself.
education itself.
Yeah.
I think, I'm sure there was, Italy was he was a enemy, what do you call
Yeah,
him?
there were the Voces from Mussolini.
Mussolini, okay.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't last very long, they got out, or they kicked out, or something happened.
Well, Patton took care of them.
Okay, well, that's what it was. And we had, I believe, or maybe I dreamed so many things, you know. on it, that we made not a forced landing, because we landed fine and refueled. We got some gas there. And
In Italy.
in Italy,
Oh, yeah.
and of course, we didn't see none of the
Yeah, it might have been after it got liberated or taken over by the Allies.
allies. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that we made a forced landing or some kind of landing there on one of the missions that wasn't completed. Because if you didn't drop your bombs, they didn't count it.
Mm-hmm.
The mission wasn't completed. So you had to have dropped your on the target
Mm-hmm.
your
Right.
bomb to be counted as a mission.
Let me ask you, you were a gunner up in the front. Did you ever hit any other planes, enemy planes? Or? You had a 50 caliber, is that what you fought?
50,
50 caliber?
had two, one on each, right here, two 250s.
250s.
I got to fire it, whether I hit them or not, I don't know.
Oh, you
I know that one of the crew, one man on the crew, which was a tail gunner, coming, flying, and so on the back, he saw this plane coming in, German,
Mm-hmm.
coming down and coming up, and he was describing the plane, the attacking plane. He said, "Let him have it, everybody, let him have it." And he did. He got the plane. He got a
Confirmed kill.
kill,
Mm-hmm.
and that our crew, which for
Oh, the crew got it.
no, he actually got the medal for that, for shooting
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
plane to his credit.
but it was a joint effort by the crew.
You have to be telling him,
Right.
"Damn, let him know."
What about your plane? Was it ever hit real badly?
Yes, sir. We got a lot of flak holes
Black?
where you'd come in. Of course, boy, you got to give credit to those ground crews. Boy, that plane was ready the next day. They'd patch them.
They patched them real good.
They had I don't know why they did, but they used those rivet guns,
Mm-hmm.
put it on that.
Was there any protection on the plane for flak or machine gun fire? Was there any bulletproof shields or anything?
I think that the only one was the nose gunner, tail gunner, and the ball
Pilot?
turret.
The pilot didn't get?
I don't think so. They didn't have it. They had a big hunk of plexiglass, some kind of glass, bulletproof glass.
Oh yeah.
Now the waist gunners, I believe they had a little wall. Say the window's right here, looking this way, right in going forward. They had a little wall.
Mm-hmm.
Now I never found out whether it was metal but no, it was metal. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
As a protective,
Yeah.
coming in this way for the gunner. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And the ball turret, boy, you had a big hunk of glass in front. They,
Y'all never had to bail out or anything.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was under the impression that we had bailed out
Mm-hmm.
coming from Germany on one of those deals. I know that we were hit, and the flak was bad, and we lost one engine. And I remember, well, I never did ask him, the pilot. I said that he had told us, throw out the heavy stuff out,
Mm-hmm.
because we were already on the way back.
Mm-hmm.
Throw out the heavy stuff,
Get the weight off of it.
wait, because we were gonna sort of glide in,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow or another, why I got the idea that we had bailed out. Because before I knew it, we were in seething. So evidently I must have dreamed that. And I told the pilot that. I said, well, no, we didn't bail out. I could have sworn I saw these guys going, and I went with them.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was,
Yeah, it might have been the experience, you know, that it might have been on your mind also that you
Could have,
that,
because-
that you were ready to bail out.
because the pilot always told me, says, so and so, you know, the planes are so close, you can see their numbers, serial numbers there. So you could tell who they were, because it's, like I say, they were close, you know, by name. And you see they were hit, and sure enough, you see that smoke coming out of those one of the engines, and it was just like, you've seen these fog trails. That's what it looks like, that smoke. A trail of black smoke. And the pilot always said, keep an eye on them, because it's already, you know, they're together, and there wasn't any enemy ships gonna come in and try to shoot you down.
Yeah.
They knew that you were ready for them. And they were pretty sharp, those enemy pilots.
What about night flights? Did you ever have any missions at night?
No, I didn't.
Or you didn't?
The English were the ones that made their missions at night with that, what do you call that? I forgot the name of the plane. But they made, most of their missions were at night, because there's so many planes up there. All, just, you'd run into them if you got them all up there.
Yeah.
A week
Yeah.
later, let me ask you, a week later, in crossing the English Channel, I know because I crossed it 5+, and you crossed it a week after D-Day. Was there still a lot of ships? You know, when I went across, there were a lot of ships that were disabled. Some were going underwater, and big ships. Did you see anything like that?
You know, I didn't pay attention. What I do know is if everything had been stopped, movement toward the other side of the French, if it stopped, you could walk across.
Oh.
On the
There was
amount
that-
of boats that were out
Yeah, there were a lot of
many
them.
boats.
Same with the airplane. You stopped all the planes like that, you could walk across. That's how the
Yeah, there were a lot of ships and boats and
uh-huh.
vessels there.
And then what hurt, to me, I mean, made me look at it twice, is certain missions were high, some low, and at the beginning when we said, I guess they were invading
D-Day?
D-Day or something like that. D-Day was,
6.
it kept on, because
June the 6th.
they kept going. They kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, you'd see these boats that have a front end that flops.
Landing
Landing
craft.
gear.
Yeah, the
craft,
LSTs.
and these, I guess, but they'd go on until they would stop. That wasn't deep sea for the soldiers.
Right.
They just walk out of there, and they're walking in the water toward land. And once they got on land, you could see them running,
Sure.
and you could see a lot of them fall.
They were being shot at, yeah.
Shot at. There was and I said, God,
That's the reason I brought that up, was because, like I said, I went in D+5,
Uh-huh.
and I still saw
It's a lot of that.
soldiers on the beach that
That
had
had
not been
been
picked up yet.
Uh-huh. Well,
But like you said, there were a lot of vessels in the channel yet, a lot of
boats,
ships,
yeah,
boats.
boats, everything.
all kinds.
And all the, what they dropped blocks, crosses for ships, so they
Yeah.
wouldn't come ashore. What I forget the word they use. You know, the blockage, for landing crafts to come
Yeah,
in
yeah,
shore.
yeah, uh-huh.
And it just, when do you get to wondering on that? And, but I did. It was sad to see the soldiers, you know, running, and then while they're running, they start rolling off.
Yeah,
They got hit.
yeah.
I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it was.
Well, it was a big battle when they hit the beaches the first time, because on D-Day, because they were prepared for them. Well, let's say that they were already entrenched in there, and when they were getting off the boats, there were sitting ducks in there.
Yep.
Be able to shoot them in the water, and that
And
was
they got on the beach.
yeah.
That was really nice of the French people. Just did you see this? This they
Just tell me what it is.
it's that medal up there.
Oh,
on top.
yes, I was there.
You were there.
Yes.
That the French people, after so many years, they come into
They
France.
recognize that we liberated France.
Yeah, the Normandy, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was really nice too. But I didn't expect that. Yet I couldn't.
That was just recent too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
just
Last year. I
last
think.
year, that part of the year, last year. It's about 4 or 5 months ago. And they were very nice about it. They got the pictures of them.
Right.
Of the
Yeah, the consul was there, French consul.
consul, yeah, they were all there real nice about it. So, it's experience that.
Yeah.
But getting back to what this being, I don't know how they are now, togetherness, the people, the soldier,
Mm-hmm.
even so, well, I would say that, I mean, I shouldn't say it, but the, the branch of service,
Mm-hmm.
there were still some that I'm better than
Yeah.
you. You know, I'm better than you. And I saw that just happening on a day that we got off, and the pilot take care of him to me, because he was going by age. Not that I could do anything about it,
Yeah.
but it made me feel good.
Sure.
And these other guys, they liked the kid too. But it was, in this instance, we were in I don't know whether it's a restaurant or a bar. Anyway, we were having a mild and bitter beer. Beer is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And,
In Ireland?
Huh?
In Ireland?
No, this is in London.
Oh, in London.
In London. And there was a group of Marine, no, what do you call them? The Marines, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, the
Marine.
Marines, yeah.
Marines, and then the Army and the Navy.
Right. Uh-huh.
The Marines, they were kind of cocky.
They still are.
Well, anyway, yeah, we was all sitting like that, and this guy, a soldier, not an officer, he kept blabbing about, hey, you guys got it made, and just knocking us down. See?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And one of the guys that, I think his name was Watts, got up and said, you know, you talk too much.
Told the Marine.
Told the Marine. And he sat down and kept quiet, and he started again. And he got up and told him again. He said, you know, you talking too much, why don't you keep quiet? And if you don't believe what I'm telling you to do, let's walk outside, and I'll show you what I'm doing.
Challenge him.
Challenge. Told this Air Force guy, told him, They shut up. And there were some Marine officers in there too. And of course, Air Force officers also. But that really, it was noticeable. The officers in the Marines went and told those Marines, y'all keep quiet, or I'm on
Discipline, yeah.
discipline.
Yeah.
We didn't hear a word from him anymore.
Good.
That was it. See, because it would have gotten to a
Free for all.
free for all there, including
Yeah.
even the English.
Yeah.
But it was sort of challenging.
Yeah.
And he told him off,
Yeah.
which was, well, he got tired of listening to that. Finally got up and told him.
Yeah, well, that's, they have to maintain a certain amount of discipline, and I'm pretty sure that he knew that after everybody had already been in combat and whatever, that there was no sense in you fighting each other.
But
They had somebody else to fight.
Yeah.
Did
So-
you, when you came back, well, before you came back to Houston,
No, I went to San Antonio.
or you went to San Antonio, you
And
got
that's what-
discharged in San Antonio,
Uh-huh.
then you came to
He came to
Houston.
Houston.
Were you married already?
Yes, sir. My first marriage was married, it's 5 years, 6.
Mhm.
Oh, you were already married?
I was already married, that's what,
And then you divorced?
uh-huh, and we married again.
Were you married again after the war?
After the war in 1950,
I see.
What's your wife's name, your present wife's name?
Sarah,
Sarah?
uh,
And her maiden name?
Negrete,
Negrete? And
Negrete.
was she born in Houston or what?
No, she was from Mexico.
From Mexico, okay. Whereabouts in Mexico?
Uh,
You don't
are
remember?
you there, hon?
That's all right,
Well, anyway, it's way down around
mhm.
Querétaro and Pénjamo and Guadalajara, in that area.
Yeah, okay. She looks Anglo.
She does, uh-huh.
Yeah, she looks Anglo.
She's
A lot of people around Guadalajara are very
very light,
light
yeah.
complected, yes.
Yeah.
The situation when you came back, you landed back in Houston, and you became a
Civilian.
civilian again, and you say you remarried. How did you find the situation back in Houston? Did you think, hey, this is nice that I came back, things have changed a little, they look good, or what? How did it look to you?
Well, it was good. I enjoyed Houston, even where there was, well, I never ran into any kind of trouble like that as far as
Yeah.
getting along with people.
Mm-hmm.
I found it real pleasant, especially maybe because that's the way they accepted me at work,
Mm-hmm.
with open arms, ran that way. And
Did you have a hard time getting a job after you came back?
no, it was waiting for me.
Well, it was still waiting for you?
Still waiting for me, and that's what made it so good. See, and it was just unbelievable, and it was just like a family again.
Mm-hmm. I see. And how long afterwards did you get remarried?
And then see, we I think we in 45. We were divorced. The first marriage was in 45.
45?
In 50, I remarried.
Uh-huh. How did you meet your wife?
I went into a nightclub business. You remember Havana Club?
Sure, absolutely.
That's it. There was Rufus, who was one of the owners,
Rufus Ramirez.
Ramirez, and this other one here, man, I can't think.
You know,
There's three guys.
I think Johnny Ramirez was, Johnny Martinez.
No, he was the
Trumpet
orchestra.
yeah.
Yeah, he played the orchestra.
He played,
Yeah, they played that. See, he was a band,
yeah.
and the other. Yeah, I talk to him all the time. He kind of lost his weight. He's lost a lot of weight. He's a St. Patrick's member, and we were having. I don't know how I got in there. Oh, I told one of them. I said, "Hey, why don't you put this on there? This and that." I said, "Yeah, that'd be good." I said, "Can you do it?" I said, "No, but I'll try." So I came home and I drew some palm trees, piece of craft paper, the side of leaves.
Yeah.
Well, one leaf I could trace it on the wall. Hey, hon,
What?
I'm gonna talk about you.
You're already hoarse, you've been talking so much. I was gonna say if I had an email. Ya no puede hablar, ya cállate.
No, pues si te me ves, me están diciendo.
Okay.
What's your name and the town that you're from?
Cuerámaro, Guanajuato.
Cuerámaro.
Cuerámaro, Guanajuato.
All
Good
right.
state, I like Guanajuato.
It's a beautiful state. It's the best one in, well, Jalisco is pretty too,
Yeah.
Michoacan is pretty too, but I was born
Well,
in.
you know, I had never been to Mexico until I met her.
He kept saying these wetbacks, insulting thing, and when he went, he wouldn't stop going.
I like to go to Irapuato.
Oh, it's beautiful. We have a lot of friends
I
there.
do that.
We have, do you know anybody there?
Quite a few.
Okay, do you know the Arenas? She
No.
was a doctor, and that's one sister, and the other sister had buses. She had 35 buses that went all over town. And in fact, my son got operated on because he got an attack of appendix, and they have a hospital too. They both passed away now. They both
I
passed
know
away.
the Perez's there, they had a hotel there.
Okay, I'm trying to remember what was the name of the ones that they had a hotel. What was the name? We haven't been over there in about 15, 20 years.
We haven't either.
But we just stopped going. My mother was from there, from Cuerámaro, but then they moved to Pénjamo, and I still have relatives there. And in Irapuato too, but they're all gone.
I like Leon, Guanajuato.
Oh, it's beautiful. Leon is
All those
beautiful.
shoes there.
Yes, well, see, my niece has a stand de zapatos y otro de licuados, and so she goes over there every week to get the supplies, because she has a stand there.
How did you wind up in Houston?
It's a long story. you don't want to listen because it'll take another day. No, my father had a store there, and this is during the Revolution.
Right.
And they used to come, they supposedly to make a better, well, never mind that. Anyway, they used to come and shoot up anybody that was outside, and then they would break the door and go in and steal everything they could from the store.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were. They were marauders. They were,
Yeah.
Anyway, they did that for 5 or 6 years. I was born in 1919. You're gonna know my age. Anyway, in 1919, my mother says, this isn't the life for us, living in fear. And they used to get this is before I was born. I had a bunch of sisters, and they used to put them in the well. Y tenían unos palos, and they put them in there because the guys that would come in would rape the young girls.
Los tapaban en la well. Fíjate.
Yeah, and so they said, my mother decided she wanted to come over here, and then my father was going to come over here too after he got rid of all his business and everything. And by then it had wound down, La Revolución Mexicana had wound down. So she said, well, as soon as you sell everything, and he gave una talega así de dinero. Paper money wasn't any good, it had to be gold or silver.
Yeah.
Okay, so she got over here. She came one time, estaba la plaga from Spain, que le decían the Black Plague.
Plague, yeah.
Oh.
And she was
yeah.
pregnant and couldn't get through. the border was closed. So she had enough money, went back and told my father I couldn't get through. And I was afraid I'd have the baby over there, nobody knew, and then my kids were all, you know, they didn't know anybody. So she went over there, had me, and when I was 8 months old, my father told her, okay, here's the paper, it's open. You can go through. And like I said, the revolution was already winding down. So my mother took us, brought us, came on back. And these guys, listen to this bunch of crooks. I love my Mexican people, but there are a lot of crooks in this. You know, I love them really, and he can't say anything about it because I'll really. Anyway, by then he used to close at 9, and they didn't have any cars. They had a horse, so he'd send the little boy to go get his horse because he was going home, and he told everybody, "Go on home, you know, I'm gonna close up." And he was closing down, and here comes about 10 guys at horseback with rifles, and they shot him up. They shot him up. They killed him.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, because before that, he used to have his 4 or 5 men that worked for him at the store. It was a big store. And they were all armed, so when they'd come, they'd defend that store. And a lot of the ones that they killed, they found out it wasn't just the guys that were in the revolution. It was some of the guys there that didn't want to work and would go there, really, would go there and steal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So they waited till everything had wind down and everything, and then these 10 guys, that's what they say. We never could prove, my mother never could prove anything. They came by and shot him, and he died. And that was the end of that. We never knew what happened to the store or the money or anything. My mother was over here already. By the time she knew it was 1924. This is 2 years later.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm not going to argue with anything.
So they lost everything.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The name of that hotel in Irapuato is Versalles.
Hay otro, hay dos.
Yeah.
Hay uno right in town, which we used to stop by, and then these arenas that were my mother's friends. One of them was, like I said, era partera, ella se llamaba Trini Arenas. Y la señora, la otra era Chole, ¿verdad? Chole. And they used to come real often and everything. They've gotten too rich now. One of the sons has a 10-story building in Irapuato, and the other one is, oh, they're doing real
How
good.
about those strawberries about that big?
Oh, beautiful. Well, see, they used to come over here once or twice a year to do a lot of shopping, because the guy that, Trine, which was La Partera, she made a real beautiful, well, it was, ahí se operaron a mi hijo, some hospital. So he used to come over here to get some supplies here to Houston. And Albert would take him all over to get the supplies he needed for the hospital there. El crupet, que dije yo, what the heck is crupet? You know what that is?
Curette.
You know, crupet, it's la incubadora for the children. See, I don't know, I didn't know. Crupet. Sí, ando buscando, quiero como unos 10 crupets. Well, you take him, you know, so, because he was in the dental business, so
Yeah.
he used to go to different supply houses.
Pero, Jaime, diles cómo entraste aquí.
Mira, allí llegué en el tren, ok, no llegamos en burro como tú.
Pero dice que, ¿cómo entraste? Pues hablaba inglés.
No, listen, when my mother came, it was 8 of us. And when she got, this is ignorance, when she got to the border, they told her that it would be $9 for each one of us to get across, which wasn't true. Y le preguntó a todos, mi mamá, mi hermano, mis 4 hermanas, you know, and they said, well, they were born in Mexico. Y yo estaba güerita, no hair, and my mother had me covered, y me destapó el americano, y vio así, dijo, este es de acá, ¿verdad? Esta nació acá. And my mother right away thinks I'm saving $9. So she said yes. And then I had trouble for 25 years.
My goodness.
I couldn't get my papers. And the reason that happened is we went over there. We used to go 2 or 3 times a year over there because my stepfather worked at the railroad. So we'd go free. And now my daughter, the reason he started going, my daughter works for Aeromexico. She's been there 25 years since they started that flight.
Used to
And
go back twice a month.
she used to go twice a month porque le sacaba boletos para que fuera y no iba cada rato. Anyway, I went over there and I was 18 years old and I was supposed to come back. We had spring break to graduate from high school. So they said, where were you born? And I turned around and looked at mother and I said, in Mexico. I told the truth.
Mm.
And he says, well, you're not going through if you don't have any papers.
Wow.
And I said, I have to go. I'm graduating in a month. You know, that spring break, the Easter, we had gone over there, we had come back, and I had to go back to school to graduate. And he says, you can't. You're illegal, and you're going to stay here. And my mother, being a Mexican, she knew all the ropes. She says, don't worry. I started crying, you know, what am I going to do with it? And she says, look, we'll go to a hotel, stay the night, and they change shifts.
Yeah.
And when they change shifts, we'll come back and we tell them you're born over here. And I said, no, mother, I'm not going to be lying anymore. You know, I'm going to tell the truth. She said, well, pues sal como puedas. So I told him, and he said, what school do you go to? What's the name of your teachers? What's this? And I knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 18 years old. I know
Yeah.
what's going on. So he said, Sarah, I'm going to let you go ahead and go through. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm going to put a note here that if you ever come back and try to get back over here, they're to put you in jail and throw you back.
Oh.
So he let me, and like he says, they let her get through because I was speaking in English, you
Yeah.
know? So I came back. It took me 5 years to fix those papers.
My goodness.
And the lawyers, bunch of crooks.
Oh, they are.
I'd go, $50, and you need to bring me this and this. I'd go back. Well, now you need this and this. I'd take it back.
¿Te hacen la historia larga?
$50, $50, $50. No, now I need this, $50. Have you had your shots? $50. Just to take up those papers. And at that time, it was during the war. And there was some, immigration guys going around, you know, and they would pick up anybody that was dark, okay? So my cousin and I are out in the porch, and they stopped by and they said, have you seen any windbags? And we said, well, we don't know, you know. And by then I had a beauty shop at home, you know. And they went in and they saw, I have my whole thing. I still have all my supplies and everything. And when they saw that, they went on. I don't know, we don't know any wetbacks. A month later, I go back to the lawyer, get some more papers, go to the immigration, which was in the post office there on Fannin, and I take him everything, como que iba a pedir, like I was begging, you know.
Yeah.
No good. No, that doesn't get you anything. So I'm sitting there with about 10 more people waiting to be called to that guy. And he says, you know what? I'm just waiting. And that guy hadn't called anybody in over an hour. And these two big, handsome guys come in. And they're the guys that had asked us if we had seen any wetbacks, you know, and had talked to us out there. And they said, Sarah, what in the world are you doing here? Don't tell me you're a mojada. And I said, yes, well, not really. And then I told her my story. And she said, why do they make it so hard for people that are trying to do right? And I said, look, I've got a stack of papers that big that I've taken to that guy. His name was Gorman. Redhead, mean. He would just throw the papers back at me and tell me, that doesn't get you, that doesn't prove anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, you got any money? I had $100. So he said, you go to this address on Richmond, Board of Education, get a letter stating from kindergarten to when you graduated, get that letter signed, come back, take 2 pictures there, one front of this, he says, and we'll go downstairs. And he got a $18 money order. And they says, come back. And it says, we're on the 6th floor. Okay. So I come back, go up there. They're both sitting there. They went out there without knocking or anything, they opened the door of this guy, and they threw everything I had. I says, what else does she need? And he said, she got an $18 money order? Yes. She's got 2 pictures? Yes. She needs to prove that she's been here. Me dieron la carta, you know, that letter that had, since I was 6 years old till I was 18 that I graduated. And he said, okay, give me one of those envelopes you have there already typed out with address and everything. And he took it out and gave it to him. They put everything in there, sealed it, and went downstairs and put it in the mailbox there with the post office. 10 days later, I had my papers.
Great.
Fíjate.
So I'm legal.
Yeah.
Y nomás porque hablaba
Nomás
inglés.
porque hablaba inglés. That's it. You know?
Beautiful story, beautiful story.
Well,
Yeah.
we had a hard time because when they killed my father over there, mother didn't have any money, a very hard time.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing we're very proud of, we came here with just the things on our back and the money that my father had given us. And my mother said, I have never gotten so much as a straw from the United States. I've worked for everything I have. And I want my children to do the same thing.
Very good.
He said, no matter how bad off you are, if you're hungry, you go in there and knock and says, I'll clean your house for you, give you something to eat.
Exactly.
But we've never been on welfare or give me nothing.
Very good.
So, and my mother made it. She made it.
Okay, honey.
She saw us
We
all
thank you
there.
very much. I mean, this is a good part of the history, and this brought all together. This is what it's all about, you know. And I appreciate you coming in and giving you version of things that happened, you know, because a lot of things that you went through and you and your husband, you know, those are going to be.
It's history.
It's
history.
And
Well-
the grandchildren are going to appreciate all
Well, you know, when my mother got across, it wasn't crooked, but anyway, I'll tell you something that was to show you the type of person my mother was. She was mean. Anyway, they were signing them up there at the border to come and pick cotton. My mother never had picked cotton in her life. She didn't know what cotton was. She knew she wore it, but she didn't know what it was. So they brought her to Rosenberg. And my mother even remembered the name of the guy that owned that ranch, Mitch Miller. That's his name,
Wow.
there in Rosenberg.
He
And he told them that he would give them a home, that he had homes for everybody. And they would pick cotton. He said the little ones, he was thinking the little ones would pick cotton, you know, because mother had 4. And I was still in diapers, I was a baby. So they gave her a chicken coop full of those gorupos. And, yes, a bed with a spring, no mattress, no light, no nothing. And in the morning, mother said she would put me under a tree, and she would get a blanket and put it so the sun wouldn't hit me, and they would go all the way from one end to the other, and her hands were all scratched, and it was
You know,
horrible.
they have thorns on those.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And she said that after a month, she says, this isn't gonna work. You know, I'm not getting anything, and the guy had a store, you go buy your groceries there at the price he wanted.
And take it off your
So
plate.
every week, there was no money coming in, just,
all
you know,
grocery.
well, what little she could buy or cook. So there was this guy that used to work there. He was a Mexican guy wanting to go to Detroit. That's where he had family. But he had gotten stuck there and he didn't have any money. So my mother says, well, this guy goes every week to Houston because he had vegetables too. And he used to come to the farmer's market, which was on that street. What street is that?
Preston
Washington?
Avenue.
Houston Avenue?
Preston.
Preston, and you go down and you put the wagons down there.
Down below.
And yes, and take all the groceries out and go upstairs and sell whatever. So my mother says, I'm not staying here. And he says, well, you can't go, because whenever they find somebody that's trying to get out, they beat them. And he says, except one day, he'd been there 3 years. He said, every year on his birthday, he has all his friends over, and they come over and they drink till 1 or 2 o'clock. by 3 o'clock, everybody's out. So she says, okay, will you drive a wagon for me? And he says, well, what are you thinking? She says, when they have that party, you know he used to work at the house there watching everything. When you see them all out cold, you come over here with the wagon. She got all her kids in there, got me, 'cause I was a baby, And we came all the way to Houston. And dice mi mamá que that was about 3 o'clock, and we got over here just as the sun was coming out. And she got that wagon, took it under there, and left it there, and says, somebody will come pick it up. And the guy told Mother, that's it, I'm through with this. This is all I promised to do for you. And my mother started walking, asking, where was the Mexican neighborhood? Okay? And he left the man. We never found out what happened to the man. So we got over here, so my mother says, I do owe that guy that wagon that I stole from him, but I didn't keep it. She put it under there and left it there. She says, eventually he had to come for the rest of the groceries to sell. I mean, not groceries, the fruit and whatever he was selling, and found his wagon there. I mean, I borrowed it.
More than likely.
She says, I just borrowed it. I didn't steal it. I borrowed it.
You
So
see?
that's how we got to Houston.
You see, that's what, I haven't said a word. She interviews
No,
for
we
me.
did. Well,
Sí.
okay, that's why I went away. So
Sí,
you
pero
would
le voy a
see.
decir dónde te conocí.
No, that's besides the point. Yeah.
No,
Well,
no.
He
You want
had a nightclub, and I thought he had money, and he didn't. I had more money than he did. He didn't have anything.
Big nightclub.
He had a nightclub, and I thought he had money. And
Sí.
shoot, by the time I found out it was too late, we were married
Oh,
already.
man. ¿Ya por qué hablas inglés?
That was real good.
Very
That really came in right. That I'm glad that we had a conversation with her because she brought a lot to it.
You know, talking about the way she talks there, I have an aunt, had an aunt. They moved over to, that's my father's sister. There were three with this, because my grandfather was married, I don't know how many times, but he had three. My father, his brother, and this woman, my tia Jesusita. And they lived there in El Paso. And when I went to visit them at Big Springs, they had moved to Big Springs, Texas, and I asked her, she said, tell me about your life in El Paso. He said, oh, it just happened that the conversation came out, Pancho Villa. He said, that era un perro. That's how he put it, she put it, because he used to go and kidnap these young girls, take them over across the river or somewhere, and rape them. See, and boy, she had no use for it.
Well, a lot of people thought he was just a bandido, you know, that he would go and use the excuse that he was a revolutionary to be able to do whatever he wanted to.
Well, she was really, the way she talked, you could tell that there was bitterness in her tone. About Pancho Villa.
Is that the photo you was telling me about?
Yeah, this is the one. Look how this is a lot clearer.
Okay, let me focus on that.
You want me to get closer?
No, I can come in.
That's the crew.
Okay, and is this the same photo that you showed before, or are you still in the same location? The one with the circle?
Yeah, it's the same one, only I had one of my nephews redo this. He even put a circle around me.
Yeah, I see that. And that's a B-24, you say?
B-24.
I train on those. I mean, working on the Bombay systems.
Bombay system?
Just for training, you know, we actually work on the jets.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's the only way you get into the plane, the Bombay.
Yeah.
It opened when you crawl. That is, most all of them would get into the Bombay.
Yeah.
Uh,
We used to work on those and on the B-29s, and I remember a lot of times, you know, if it got too boring, we just go to sleep in there,
yes.
take a nap.
Well, going back to your nightclub
Oh,
days,
yeah.
what do you remember about, or what do you like about the music that you used to have? Do you like that better than we have today? Do you like the way that they danced before? What do you think
You
about
know,
those days?
in those days, I don't know whether you remember, but the custom was that when you gotta go into the dance, you get your partner, you get out on the floor, and they play a little, I guess a little tune to a marching
Yeah.
tune,
Yeah.
and you'd walk around all the way around the
Ballroom, yeah.
hall room with your partner holding your arm. And then they come in with that music, with their dance music. But the dancing was, oh, it was nice. It was
It was actually music, not
music.
what you hear
Yeah,
today.
it was music. Now you don't know what number.
We don't know how to dance, and it was, we danced a lot when
We-
were
oh,
there.
that's-
That's how I
we-
met him in
we
one of
met
those
at that.
nightclubs. He had a nightclub, I said, this is the guy for me, he's got money.
Anyway, that was the dancing was wonderful. It was, the music was wonderful, and
The people used to dress up a little bit more, didn't they?
yeah, with you didn't see any dresses down there open up to the belly.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, or short. It was a evening dress,
Mhm.
and
Right.
it was just all the dancers were like that. Anywhere you went to, we used to go to a lot to Bill Marquez. I don't know,
Right.
you remember him?
Sure.
Polka. Oh, they played the best music, and I guess we made 105, the 105 on North Main, on
Right.
Main.
Do you remember the Aragon Ballroom?
Oregon, yeah,
Do
that's
you remember the
Dokies,
plantation?
Plantation, Dokies,
Yeah,
yeah, and the Main,
in the Maine.
that was a good one. That was really good. So as far as that music was,
Did you ever go down to the Blossom Heath?
Blossom Heath, this way, I made them all.
Did you?
I made them all. They was really nice too.
You remember a fellow by the name of Vic Incerillo?
Yeah, sure.
He had a
Oh.
great orchestra, didn't he?
Oh, listen, it's just like Bill Marquez.
Yeah.
I just loved it. Martinez was good,
Excellent.
excellent. It just moved the sound.
I interviewed him, how long ago?
About a month ago.
About a month ago.
Is he still around?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
You know
mentioned
that-
all those
He's
places.
about your age.
Yeah.
88, I think.
88? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? That's unbelievable. I think of all these old guys, you know,
Sure.
that we used to hang
Albino
around.
Torres.
Torre, yeah. Oh, listen, man, it was nice, especially these. You remember, what was that? Bill Williams,
Sure. Out on South Main.
South Main.
Sure.
Boy, that was good. That's one. Usually on a date, you always wound up getting something to eat there.
Right.
Remember?
Sure.
It was nice.
And after you came back and settled down and you got married, and did you stay in the job that you had when you came back, or?
You know that, yes, when I came back, Dr. Stoll, boy, he was a man, he was a wonderful man. All of them there was like the crew, so close together. They were all the same ones there.
Uh-huh.
There very seldom was a new one,
Yeah. So it's like a
up to-
family.
a family.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it's there in the medical arts building where,
Mm-hmm.
and you know the thing was, they makes that, come on, let's go. Come on to work. They needed me.
Mm-hmm.
After 3 or 4 years.
Mhm.
My job was still
Was still there? What were you doing there? What kind of work?
shipping clerk.
Shipping clerk?
Shipping
Okay.
clerk.
Uh-huh.
And then, well, a little of everything.
Yeah.
If I wasn't doing anything with shipping, got through with the shipping, I'd go in and straighten stock or put stock up, and that's what the boss liked. All of them liked, because I was always helping
Mhm.
whoever needed
How long did you work there?
all my life. That's the only job I ever had.
Is that right? Are you retired now?
I'm retired.
Uh-huh.
90 years old.
Two places that I worked for, and both have been in the dental business. Toward the last, they let me go out and call on the dental laboratories to salesmen. And then I don't know what happened. They got a lot of friction there. I think, no, and it was never said to me, I think that some company in New Orleans bought this company that I was with, Davidson Dental Supply in New Orleans, I think, because they sent a young kid from New Orleans, and he started getting and pushing me. Got kind of big, and I couldn't take it anymore. So one of the guys that I had given a job before they put on Arthur, that had quit and gone to work for Texas Dental Company, Dental Supplies. He went to work for them, and I told him, man, it's getting rough over here. This guy's is really
Too much pressure.
too pressure, wants this, and nothing I do is right. So he said, why don't you come and see my boss? He'll take you. He'll give you a job. I knew him. I knew him. Well, you know, it's a small group of people that you know. So I'll go see him. And by God, when I walked in there, he knew what I was going there for. He was ready to start tomorrow.
Is that right? Wow.
I guess this fella, Johnny, had told him about it, that I was going to see him. He was ready. He gave me a job. He said, well, what do? You tell me, I'll do it. And he says, he gets a telephone. Remember the Yellow Pages, how they got the dentist in one section, the
Lawyers in the other.
lawyers, we had the dentist and the laboratories, the ones that make the dentures. And he said, here, he gives me that yellow book, the sheets. He says, you call on any one you want that doesn't have a cross on it or mark on the name, because those were the ones that were already salesmen that were already there, the ones that were crossed. So I had my list already. All I could call on, and really every day from 8 o'clock in the morning that day, I'd make the list of that area section, so that I wouldn't have to be going there and there. All of it, just all that whole thing, I would call on that area every day.
Let me kind of get a little background on your children. How many children do you have?
I have one boy from the first marriage,
What's the name?
Albert Allen.
Okay.
Is the first name,
Okay.
and he was a dental. He followed in my line. He opened up a dental school, a dental laboratory school, where they make. As a matter of fact, he was in the service, and that's what he went in the dental service of the Army or whatever branch it was, making teeth. See, just and that's him. He's that.
Okay.
And then over here, I have two boys.
Their names?
One of them, well, the oldest one is Adrian Gerald Marquez.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is James Marquez,
And they're
a girl.
Okay.
A girl in there is Sylvia Espinosa. Can't never been able to
Whatever.
pronounce her last name. Anyway, it's three boys
Mm-hmm.
and one girl.
What's the two boys from this marriage? What do they do?
Adrian Gerald is some kind of electrical engineer
Mm-hmm.
for some X-ray company,
Uh-huh.
European company. He works at, got a pretty good job there. Now the other boy, James Michael, he's he's sergeant for the Houston Police Department, and he's a helicopter pilot.
Oh, okay.
That's what he does.
Uh-huh.
Fly those helicopters, patrol.
The first son, the second son that you mentioned that works for the European company, X-ray company, it wouldn't happen to be Siemens, would it?
That's the one.
That's one?
You work for them?
No, my stepson works for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in San Antonio, and he
Oh.
works in San Antonio, but
Siemens.
he gets sent to Germany for training a lot of time when something new comes up.
Uh-huh. Well, he's been one some time, and he's pretty
Mm-hmm.
up there on the electrical part.
Oh, really? Yeah, pretty
See,
sharp, huh?
I sold a lot of their X-rays.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have dental X-rays, Siemens. I don't know whether they still do or not, but it's a big company now,
Yeah, it is. It's worldwide. Yeah,
worldwide.
yeah.
Siemens that. And Sylvia, she works for this Earl Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I started going to Mexico.
So,
Oh,
have any of them been in the military?
Just the first one.
Just the first one. Okay.
Yeah, from the first marriage.
I see.
That's it. And now the grandchildren, they're all in school.
I think we're going to wind it down now, and because I want to take some photographs of your medals, and then I want to go around the back
Oh,
and photograph some of that. You want to go ahead and thank
Did
him
you-
and whatever.
Did you get this?
Yes, I did. We got that.
Mr. Marquez, Mr. Cepeda and I want to thank you and your wife for your hospitality, letting us come to your home and do this interview. And we want to thank you not only for that, but because you will be contributing something to the history of the veterans, World War II veterans that are Hispanic descent. And on top of that, let me say that I have enjoyed, and I'm sure Mr. Cepeda has enjoyed, interviewing you.
We really sincerely thank you because you've been very cooperative, and we feel like we got the sense of history behind your story and your wife's story, and we really appreciate it and want to thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Something that I've often wondered, but I know that this. I know at one point this has something to do with how you were treated and
Right.
things like that.
Exactly.
Well, I would say I've never had any kind of trouble. Maybe because I talk too much, or what. But it's been. I've gotten along. Maybe if a lot of us would practice on that too, you can
Right.
work it to your
Right.
way.
Exactly.
But let
And,
me ask you this, would you tell us a little bit about what advice would you give the youngsters of today that are coming up? They're going to be the leaders of tomorrow. What advice would you give them to be better leaders or to be better citizens?
Well, I don't know how to express myself on that point, but from what I see, I blame the parents now of, like you say, these that are coming up, to let them the way they dress, of course, they're not the only ones doing it. I'm telling you, it makes you boil inside to see things like this. I got one of the best, nicest fellow lives across the street here. He's little, he had some kind of disease way back when he was a baby, but they let him dress. I can't describe him.
It's disrespectful when they dress the
Very
way they
so.
do.
This shaving their hair. As a matter of fact, I'll just change it just a little bit on this last haircut that I got about a week and a half ago. I went to the barber shop, and the barber wasn't there, so I'll go to another one right here down the street. I go in there, and comes a girl, and she sits me on this chair, and it's a pretty place. I don't know whether you've been there or not. Right down here on
Irvington?
Irvington, and across the street from Eckert's Drug. Then she comes and tends to me. He says, "Okay, how do you want your haircut? This and this and that." He said, "Well, just don't go overboard." You know,
Yeah.
So at the same time, here comes another boy, and they sit him next to me, and it's a young boy, and but the distance between, say, the chairs here and on that wall there is nothing but mirrors. But in front of you couldn't see me because there was some furniture, something in front of the mirror and myself, but I could see this other boy, how they would give him the haircut. And I was looking at it, and I thought it was me. I said, "Hey, wait a minute." I told the girl. He said, "Well, what's the matter? What's the matter?" You know, when I told her, "Wait a minute." He said, "You cutting all my hair?" He said, "No, I just thought you asked." And it was the guy right next door on the mirror. See, and I thought it was me. Because, like I said, I can't see without my glasses. I can't see with them. So she said, she started laughing. I said, "Yeah, I thought it was me." Here this guy, and you know there's a lot different between these hair machines now. They cut almost all his hair, bald headed.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh my goodness." So anyway, getting back to this clothing here. This fella here, just the nicest kid you ever want to meet, but he's got these blue jeans, you know, that go right here. He's got them over here, and the knee part is on the heels.
Yeah, yeah. They got those baggy pants, baggy.
Baggy. And now, of course, what can you do? If you say anything, you're gonna be in trouble.
Right.
And it's always 4 or 5. You can't whip 5 at one time by yourself. So, well, but I say that parents should pay more attention to the children, because that's just like the foundation on a house.
That's right.
Yeah.
How you bring a child up.
Exactly.
And it just makes you, well, furious.
Okay, well, we thank you, and we're gonna step over here, and these are some of the medals that Albert has won and was distinguished and earned. I wouldn't say that it was won; it was earned, and we very much give him credit for being in the service and taking care of our country for us.
This is a good conduct. This is for the Middle Eastern campaign, World War II campaign. This is the Distinguished Flying Cross. And this one over here is the Air Medal. Eagle.
And,
And his wings.
And his wings.
don't forget that other one that the French gave me.
That's
My
over
name
there.
on it.
Okay.
That
That's
one, the top one.
Yeah.
the top one. The French awarded this to all the armed forces that helped liberate France, and it's an honor that was bestowed on a lot of Americans, and I'm certain that he's very proud of it. There's a few other photos.
No,
Like I said, this is our joke.
Okay.
you focus on it.
You gonna, oh, well, okay. The one standing with the socks is Albert Marquez.
Okay, and that's yourself, right?
That's myself, and then my sister,
And that was taken way back.
way back, this was in about 1915, me. And she
Okay.
was, oh, I got the date somewhere there.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Okay, now we're gonna focus on the one on the top. Okay.
Okay, which one do you want? That one or this one?
This
This one, that is myself on the left, on the right, and then my two cousins. Those are,
Now we're gonna go down to this two here.
Okay.
This one here first.
this is my grandfather,
You
Eleno
remember-
Marquez.
And the Eleno Marquez. Yeah, that's the name. Okay.
Now this is my father, Esperidion Marquez, and this is a friend of his. And I call her Aunt Jemima here. This is my grandmother,
Your grandmother.
Rafaela Adame Ochoa. You can hardly see her. And then you go up to my mother on the right, and my cousin, her sister. Her name is Luisa Adame Ochoa. Teodola Adame Ochoa.
What about your Diaz? His Ball was her last name.
Bald.
Okay, and the one on the
Take
top
the
there.
octagon soap.
No. Oh yes, by all means.
That-
Those are my sister and my cousin.
Okay.
The one sitting is Matilde Rivera Marquez. And the one standing is Anita Marquez.
Marquez. Okay, right below.
Right below, that's my sister, Matilde Matilde Marquez.
Matilde Marquez. And that big photo in the
And
center.
here is my mother.
Your mother.
Yeah, it's
My mother is Teodola
Si quieren dar a
Yeah,
algo.
donde-
Adame.